We will get started. Alrighty. So, good morning, everyone. It is Thursday, June 18th. I really do find I have to keep checking in on the day and the day of the week to know what day is today, what class am I teaching. I really have kind of lost track. So it's Thursday. So we're here for Pilates. If you will need a pillow or a Pilates ball if you have one, so a ball or just a small pillow that you'll use in place of the ball. That'll be all that you'll need today. So we'll get started. Sit up nice and tall, stacking your shoulders over your hips. Go ahead and pull your belly button in, brace in that center, and take a couple of deep breaths in through your nose and out through your mouth. On your inhales, I want you to feel your ribs expanding through the front and the back. Your collarbones will open up just a little bit, but drop your shoulders. Try not to let them scrunch up. And then bring your right hand high up on your rib cage. Let your left hand fall heavy to the floor behind you. Right ear to right shoulder for a couple of deep breaths. So again, on this one, you should feel a little bit of a pull on the left side of your neck. That's the weight of that arm pulling down as you prop the right side up. To center and switch. Left hand up, right hand heavy, and left ear to left shoulder. Deep breaths in. Come back to center. On your next inhale, reach up long with your right hand. Big stretch. And then exhale, left hand to right knee and twist. And inhale, reach. And exhale, twist. Two more on this side. Last one. And switch sides. Inhale, reach up with the left hand. And exhale, twist. Inhale, reach. And exhale, twist. And last one. And I'm going to turn on my mat, lengthwise. If you're on a regular yoga mat, your feet will be at the outside edges. If you're not on a yoga mat, just set your feet up so that they're wider than hip width. You're going to work the muscles of the legs to press them down onto the mat. Ankles flex, your toes are pointed back towards you. Again, give those quads a little bit of a squeeze to press down. Inhale, reach hands up to shoulder height. And on your exhale, reach out and down past opposite little toe. Inhale up. Exhale out to the other side. Inhale, fill up with air. And as you blow all that air out, really reach forward. One more each side. And then bring your feet together in the center of your mat. And legs are still active and pressed down. We're going to be rolling back, all the way back down onto our back, so make sure that you're not going to crash into something behind you. Inhale, reach your hands forward. And on your exhale, I want you to roll slowly back down onto the mat. Imagine placing your spine down on the mat, one vertebrae at a time, resisting the whole way down. When you get down all the way to the mat, deep breath in at the bottom. What did I say about not crashing into something? I am hitting the wall. And roll up just as slowly. Tall person problems. When you get all the way up, again, inhale, reach your hands forward, and exhale, slowly roll back. Keep those legs pressed down. Inhale, reach overhead, down on the floor, and exhale, slowly roll up. Last one. And then I'm going to come down onto the mat. Make sure that you have your small pillow or your Pilates ball close at hand. I'm starting with my knees bent, feet flat on the floor, toes pointed straight down towards the bottom of the mat. Hands down by your sides. Turn your palms up towards the sky. That allows your chest to open out a little bit, your shoulders to relax. And then do a couple of little pelvic tilts. So allowing your spine to arch up off the floor and then tilting to press it back down. Allow it to arch and then press back down. It's not a big movement. Doesn't have to be a big movement. Last one. And keep that low back pressed down. And then we'll add in our breath and movement. So on your next inhale, reach opposite arm and leg long, keeping your low back pressed down. Exhale back to center. Inhale, reach up and out, keeping your low back pressed down. Exhale back to center. Recognizing what it takes to keep your low back down as you're reaching out. One more each side. And back to center. Bring your legs up into tabletop. So that is knees stacked over your hips, shins parallel to the floor, ankles flexed, your toes are pointed back towards your knees. And let's open our arms out really wide out onto the floor. Option here too, if you have any low back issues, I would have you bring your feet back to the floor for this. So you can do this with your legs in tabletop or feet on the floor. And we're going to drop the knees out side to side. So we are looking at a spinal twist here. So whether your knees are up or your feet are up or down, your knees are going to be up either way. Whether your feet are up or down, we are looking for a spinal twist. If your feet are down, you'll feel it a little bit more in your hips and your outer thighs. So if that's what you need this morning, maybe go ahead and keep your feet down and kind of windshield wiper your knees back and forth. Your arms are out nice and wide to give you a nice stable base. One more each side. And back to center. You're going to grab your pillow or your ball, whatever you have. Set your legs up again in tabletop. And start with that pillow or ball between your palms. So your fingertips are light. Whatever you're holding, your fingertips are light, and you're going to be squeezing between your palms. The cat keeps standing right in front of my face. So you're pressing in using your palms. Your fingertips are light. So we'll start down, deep breath in, and on your exhale, reach up like you're trying to place that ball or your pillow onto your shins and squeeze it in with your palms. Inhale back down, and let's stay to the center. Squeeze. Exhale and squeeze. Inhale down. Keeping those legs in tabletop. So that is shins parallel to the floor and knees stacked over your hips. Again, really squeezing that ball between your palms. 2 more. Last one up the center. And set the ball aside. Legs still in tabletop. I'm going to go into an alternating dead bug. So one leg stays in tabletop, one arm stays up overhead, while the opposites then reach out. Push away with your heel as you extend the leg out. Come back to center. And switch. So one leg is always up, one hand is always up as you reach the other out. And inhale, you reach nice and long. Exhale back to center. One more each side. Release into the center for a moment. Pull your knees in. Little side to side roll. And you'll grab your pillow or your ball again. Set up legs again in tabletop. This time we're going to alternate between the right side and the left side. Same movement. Deep breath in as you reach the ball just slightly up overhead. And then exhale out to the right side of your right leg. Squeeze that ball between your palms. Inhale back to center. And then up to the left. Inhale to center. Out to the right. Keeping those legs stacked. Again, really squeezing that ball in between your palms. One more each side. And release back down to center. We're going to do another set of dead bugs. This time, as you're reaching one side, the opposite sides out, I'm going to have you press the pillow or the ball between your hand and knee of the side that's staying in the center. So you're reaching as you're also trying to squeeze in. So I'm trying to pull my knee in and I'm pushing it away with that hand. So squeezing the ball between your hand and knee. And of course, throughout, low back press down. Don't let the effort of this, of the squeeze and the reach, bring your low back up off the mat. Couple more of these. Last one each side. And release down in to the center. We're going to go into our third set of the reaches with the ball or pillow. This time alternating center, right, center, left, and 3 pulses to each side. Always back through the center each side. So deep breath in as you set up, and then when you exhale, do it in 3 little pulses out. So reach up, inhale. I'm going to come up to the center the first time. Little pulses. Inhale up, exhale to the right. So I'm pulsing with the movement of my body. I'm also squeezing that pillow or that ball between my palms. Keep alternating, always back through the center, in between right and left. One more to each side. Remember the center in between. On my left for the last time. And then finish in the center. And release down. Set the ball aside. Hug your knees in. Little side to side roll. Setting up then for our single leg stretch. Hugging the knees in. I want you to raise your chest and shoulders up towards the ceiling. So think about raising up towards the ceiling rather than rolling forward. Extend your left leg out to 45 degrees from the floor, toe pointed away. Inhale as you switch legs. Exhale to pull that other knee in. One more each side. And back to center. Hugging your knees in. And then we'll go into a double leg stretch. I'm going to use the ball for this one, or the pillow, whatever you have. Place it out between your ankles. Just to kind of give you something to stabilize your legs. You're squeezing in just a little bit. Starting the first time, raise chest and shoulders up towards the ceiling. On my inhale, I'm going to reach hands and legs out opposite. And then exhale, sweep my arms around, hug the knees in. So inhale, nice hollow hold, low back press down. Exhale, sweep around. And again, that pillow or the ball between your ankles, it's just something to hold on to. Keeps your legs apart just slightly, gives you something to activate those muscles even just a little bit more. Last one. And release down. Set that ball aside for just a moment. And then I'd like to do 2 different variations on the single leg stretch. So we'll do straight leg this time instead of knee bent. The first time, we'll pull our straight leg in, so we'll get a nice stretch by pulling. So setting up for that, chest and shoulders again come up to the ceiling. Extend the left leg out, toes pointed away. Reach the right toes up towards the ceiling. I'm going to take a hold of my calves or the hamstring, whatever you're able to reach. Inhale and switch. Exhale to pull in. And continue. One more each side. And release down into the center. So that one was definitely a stretch. You're pulling the one leg in, getting that nice stretch through the back of the leg that you're pulling on, maybe even feeling a little bit of a stretch through your hip flexors of your down leg. This time, all core strength. We're going to not pull the straight leg in, but pass the ball or pillow back behind it. So we're almost kind of figure eighting with the ball, which means you have to use all core strength to keep the legs up and separated. So setting up for this, bring both legs straight up overhead, toes pointed up. Chest and shoulders raise up off the mat towards the ceiling. Extend the left leg down to about 45 degrees, pass the ball behind the right leg, and then switch. So you're passing the ball behind the legs as you're pulling them in towards your torso, up towards your chest. One more each. And release down, set that ball aside, hug your knees in. One more take on the double leg. Ball or pillow between your ankles again. So this time, the last time we reached out opposite, had a hollow hold in the center. This time we're going to reach hands and feet in the same direction. So I'm setting up, nice deep breath in at the bottom, holding my knees in, and then I'm going to exhale, reach hands and feet out in the same direction, and inhale back in. Inhale, hold in, exhale, reach out. Two more. Last one. And relax down. You can either hug those knees in or windshield wiper them back and forth on the floor. All right, and then come up to seated. Make sure that your ball or your pillow is close at hand. I'm going to start my feet down on the floor in front of me. So one note on this, if your ankle mobility is not such that you can rest your feet flat on the floor, that's okay. Back just a little bit, make sure my feet are actually in the camera. So if you're resting your heels down on the floor, it's okay. If you can place them flat on the floor, that's fine too. Whatever works for you. Knees bent out in front of you. Sit up nice and tall. Reach hands out in front with that ball or pillow in between your hands. Deep breath in at the top and exhale, sit part way back. Inhale back up and exhale back. Inhale up. We're not going all the way down to the floor, just part way. If you have a little wider pillow, you can always hold it out at the edges to give yourself something a little bit more to hold on to rather than the narrow side. Whatever works, as long as you're keeping your arms out in front of you. Two more. And release. All right, next one. Same sort of setup with the legs, same halfway roll back. The difference is, or the progression to this is that when we roll part way back, we're going to hold here. So really strengthening in your center. Reach the ball or pillow out to your right, sweep up overhead to the left, back to center. The next time you'll start at the left, sweep up overhead and back to center, and continue alternating. We're working to try and stay down in this halfway rolled back position the whole time. If you do ever need to come up, just real quick, take a breath and then sink back into that halfway. And really try to reach up overhead. You can do it nice and slow, but try to get it overhead rather than just out in front of you. We're going to do one more starting each side. And release in the center. And you can kind of take a moment and sit all the way forward. Kind of release some of that tension that you might be holding in your hip flexors. Maybe drop your head forward, your chin forward just a little bit if you're holding any tension in your neck. Rest your hands on the floor if you're holding tension in your shoulders. And then we'll do another one. Back to the first one that we did where we're rolling part way back, but this time we're going to add a twist in, passing the pillow or the ball from one hand to the next. So I start in the center, deep breath in. As I exhale, I'm going to start on my right, reach back, inhale back up, and then exhale out to the left. Follow your pillow or your ball with your gaze. That continues the twist the whole way. Your other hand continues to reach between your knees, so you're opening up at your chest as you're twisting. One more each side. Down to the center, and again you can tuck your chin forward for a moment, hands down at your sides, just to release any tension that you might be holding. Coming back to center when you're ready. Again, we'll roll part way back to straight back in the center. This time when you're back there, you're going to reach that ball or pillow up overhead. Keep it stacked overhead as you sit up, and then bring it forward. Sit back, reach up overhead. Think about pushing it up to the sky as you sit up with it. If this bothers your shoulders, just keep the ball out in front of you. You don't have to do this overhead reach. Two more. Last one. And release down. All right. One more here just for fun. Which I'm sure if you weren't all muted, I would be hearing groaning. So whenever I say fun, I think you disagree. Flexing at the ankles. Ball or pillow. Going to rest it on your shins. Not in between, that would be cheating. You're not squeezing it in, you're resting it on the top. I'm going to rest my hands back behind me. Sit up. Or sit back part way, bring my knees in and extend them out and try to keep that pillow or ball balanced. And this is where, I really wish I had a pillow instead of a ball because it's rolling back and forth. So I'm really working to keep my shins parallel. Again, not squeezing between your legs, but finding that balance. Two more. Oh, and I lost it right at the end. All right, take a second, flip it over. Let's go into a quick child's pose. Sink your hips back and reach fingertips forward. Come on up onto all fours. And let's do some alternating bird dogs. So reaching out opposite arm and leg, pushing away with your heel. Make sure that your hip is closed down to the floor, not opening out to the side. Thumb up to the sky. Back to center and reach out the other side. Again, hip closed to the floor. Pull your belly button up. Push away with your heel. Back to center and switch. Push away with your heel every time. And switch. So you can start this now on your own breath. So I like to reach as I inhale, exhale, back to center. Last one. And then let's stay on one side at a time and crunch in elbow to knee. So you'll reach out on your inhale, same form, keep it nice and clean, still pushing away with that heel, and then bring in, crossing through the center, elbow to knee. Inhale, reach, exhale, bring in through the center. So something that I notice in a lot of people is they'll look up to the ceiling or up at the wall in front as they're reaching out. Don't do that. Keep your gaze down on the mat in front of you the entire time. You don't want any unnecessary movement through your cervical spine. So keep your gaze down as you're crunching in, as you're reaching out. And think about pushing away with your fingertips, with your heel, really reaching nice and strong. 2 more. Back to center and switch. So again, keep your gaze down. Crunch in through the center. Reaching out. Crunching in. Two more. And back to center. Let's go into a couple of cat and cow. So just alternate through, arching your back up. Big over-exaggerated arch. Let your head fall heavy between your arms. And then chin up. Chest forward. Spine sags, and again, just alternating through. Last one each. Coming back to neutral spine in the center. Staying on all fours, reach your left hand under and through, but you're not coming down onto the floor, you're just reaching. Back to center and switch sides. Reach through. And back to center. The first couple times you do this, you might feel like, I'm not really doing very much. I want you to really reach back to center and switch. See if you can feel a difference in your range of motion with this little twist through here. One each side. Back to center again, drop it down into a child's pose. Kind of sway your hips side to side. Sink a little deeper. Try playing around with the position of your knees and feet. See if they're a little bit wider. Does that allow you to sink a little deeper? Or just change where you're feeling the stretch? And when you're ready, release and come on up. And that's our class. I'm going to say goodbye and thank you to Facebook Live.